Rugby Ascendants segment on Chris Wyatt Africa. This is Chris live from Cape Town, the mother city in South Africa, with a wrap-up of day one of Rugby World Cup 2022. Is that what we're in now? Yeah, this would be the SEVENS World Cup that took place here today. Round one, quite an exciting day. Looks like nobody's here at the moment, so I'm talking to myself, but that's cool. Anyway, folks, let me just run through this and we'll talk about what happened today. So it's kind of an unusual tournament. This Rugby World Cup is actually a single elimination disqualifier. So if you lose, you're done. You don't advance. So it's one and done. If you lose, you must win every game to get to the championship and win the title for Rugby World Cup. Welcome to whoever my single viewer is. Thank you for tuning in. But today at DHL Greenpoint Stadium, or Cape Town Stadium in Greenpoint here in the mother city. Quite an exciting day. I'm wearing a Springboks kit. For those who are wondering, this is the SEVENS jersey. There you go, for the Rugby World Cup. Pretty cool, from ASICS. Got the nice stencil. This is stitched Springboks and the SEVENS on there. Really lovely stuff. So anyway, folks, thanks for tuning in. Let's run through what happened today. So an unusual tournament in that the single elimination. So it's men and women, and the day started off with the men in the pre-round of 16. This was to eliminate teams that, and then the others will advance. So the first game was Ireland versus Portugal. Ireland walked all over Portugal. And that game, 24-0. Hey, Chris Wyatt, good to see you again. Thank you for tuning in. So Ireland walked over Portugal 24-0. I didn't get to see the game because it took me an hour and 45 minutes to travel 14 kilometers into the stadium because it was Friday morning traffic. And I would like to have left a little bit earlier, but it didn't because I was tired. I didn't get to sleep till about 2:30 and got up at 7. So anyway, after my long day yesterday, starting in Port Elizabeth and ending in Rondebosch and then getting to my accommodation. So that was the first game. I missed it. Then two games I really am disappointed. I'm kind of bummed out. I also missed these games, but this was not just because of the traffic, but also because of the idiotic Ticketmaster system that's used here. So I have a Ticketmaster account in the United States. It works in the US, it works in the UK, but it doesn't work in South Africa. So you have to sign up for an account here, but the app doesn't work on your phone. So World Rugby in its infinite wisdom only provided digital tickets for this event. I, like so many others, couldn't get in the venue because my ticket didn't work. I had scanned and saved the image, but it couldn't read it. And you can't print the tickets according to the website, although some people said they printed them. I don't know the story. The bottom line is that I had to stand for over half an hour while they tried to find my email, find my account, and then print out tickets for me. So I have handheld tickets now, which if they just give me printed tickets and let me go to a will call window, I would have saved myself another 35 minutes. So as a consequence, I missed the Canada and Zimbabwe game. Canada wiped out Zimbabwe 31-7 in that game. And then the next game was Samoa versus Uganda. Another game I want to see. The Cranes, of course, I'm familiar with because I lived in Uganda, was actually offered a coaching position with the Cranes, or at least asked to be a coach for the Cranes when I lived in Uganda, but I passed up that opportunity, and I regret it. I wish I had become a coach for the Uganda Cranes. How cool would that have been to have been the assistant coach for a national rugby side, not to mention my credibility for the sport. Somebody just left. So Scotland and Jamaica was next, and that's the first game I actually saw part of. Scotland roll over Jamaica 24-7, followed by Kenya defeating Tonga 19-0, and that went really well. I actually got myself a Suja jersey, folks. These are hard to come by, and I actually had them when I went in this morning, so I bought one, and I have myself now a Kenya Suja jersey. And this one's not just a jersey, but the 2022 World Cup jersey. It's right there on the jersey. You can see it right there. So pretty cool, huh? So I picked one of these bad boys up, and they didn't have many countries, but they did have Kenya because they know it's really popular. So I got myself a Kenya jersey, and there's that. So the Kenya jersey, and then that was still someone else left. Are people thinking of getting some sort of free? I don't know why people tune in and leave this hour. Anyway, so Kenya, then it was Wales versus Korea, and Wales rolled over Korea, although Korea had a nice couple tries there. Hong Kong lost to Uruguay 19-7, and then Germany had Chile defeated, only to choke and give the game away. Chile came back and defeated Germany 15-12. Then we move on to the round of 16. Once again, single elimination, and it was the women's round of 16, the other round of 16. Australia rolled over Madagascar 48-0 in a whitewashing. Pretty sad. USA women, Jazz Gray, I think Jazz Gray's her name, scored a few tries in this game. It was 39 7 over Poland. Very exciting game. USA women look very strong. Also, we saw Nia Tapper get a try. It was nice to see her get into the try zone. A big fan of Nia Tapper. She's an interesting lady. And then Canada rolled over China in 24-5 in a game I was very excited to watch. Then Fiji over Japan, 36-7, followed up by another game which was really interesting. That was Ireland 24-12, the women over Brazil. And the final women's game in this round was England over Spain, 29-5. We moved back. It's not actually the final game because South African women play later in the night. But then we moved back to the men. And the men, we've got England losing to Ireland. So England's out. Tom Bowen and the boys are out. And I think they were shocked by Ireland, who did quite an impressive job defeating England 17-15. And then it was Canada and France, and the Canadians choked this game away, had a good opportunity to win it, but they lost to France 19-12. Not an upset, not a surprise. France is a top team, and so nonetheless, kind of expected something different. Then, in what was the whitewashing of the day, the embarrassment of the day, the USA Eagles stunk up the DHL Greenpoint Stadium, losing 40-12 over Samoa. It was never close. Samoa just rolled over them, completely demolished the Eagles. Not sure what's going on there with our Sevens side. I know they're in transition. We've talked about this, but this is very disappointing. Donald Stanford and I both thought they would get through this game and defeat Samoa, but no, they didn't. This was followed up by another easy win by the All Blacks, winning 43-5 over Scotland. And then a game that had some interesting moments in it, but ultimately was kind of a boring game. The Pumas, Los Pumas from Argentina, defeated Kenya 22-7. And then the final game here, before we get to the last few games, was with the women and back and forth women and men, was Australia over Uruguay, and they wiped Uruguay out 35-0. In the women's, we go back, it's New Zealand, the Black Ferns, over Colombia, 47-5. And John says, you heard, what's that? Oh, sorry, can't read. You beast, since you've been gone, stressiness is increasing. Yeah, I don't know why either. Anyway, so it's New Zealand over Colombia. Back to the men's. Fiji played Wales. Not even a contest. Wales was rolled over easily by Fiji, 29-5 in that game. Did you have a fun day out viewing? Managed to catch some streams between the trials? Yeah, it was fun, but exhausting once again. And then we get to the final two games of the evening, both of which are the marquee home side, and we see the Lady Bucks losing to France 29-0, but that's a misleading score. In the first half, the Springboks actually held their own for quite a bit, made some really nice tackles, made great ball movement, kept the ball in France's end of the pitch, and actually looked pretty good there, but they were taken out convincingly 29-0 by France, who was far superior side. Now, the final game of the evening, of course, was the Springboks versus Chile, who had won that game earlier, and the Springboks, yeah, my seat location is pretty good. Yeah, it was pretty good, Debbie. So 32-5 was the final score, and so the first try. Excuse me, what's going on here? So we'll go back here. Going back here. All right, here we go. So the first try of the game was scored by Angelo Davids, and the conversion was unsuccessful, missed by Ronald Brown. The next try was by Makata, and he made it 10-0, and Ronald Brown missed the conversion once again. Then Christy Hrubila made a break. Both of these, by the way, Makata and Hrubila's tries were kicks over the top, brilliantly executed, I think both times by Ronald Brown. And Christy Hrubila scored a try in the corner, made it 15-0, and Selvin Davids then made the conversion, taking the Bucks out to a 17-0 lead in, what was this? This was, what time was this game? I'm trying to look and see. But then Chile scored a try, and that was by Joaquin Hucci, and the conversion was missed. So we reached halftime at that stage, and that try was scored by Selvin Davids in the 5th minute, and the same minute that we had Christy Hrubila score, both in 1 minute there. In the second half, in the 8th minute of the game, Ronald Brown scored a try, absolutely stunning, blistering pace down the near side of the pitch, the right side, the west side of the stadium. He just blew through the Chilean defense and streaked away to that score. Selvin Davids missed a conversion, and the score was 22-5. Next, South Africa's Mfundo Ndlovu scored 27. It scored in the 13th minute to take it out to 27-5. Selvin Davids missed a conversion, left at 27-5. Then Angelo Davids gets a brace. He scores his second try Angela Davids scores in the 15th minute, beyond the hooter, of course, and so the conversion is missed by Cecil Africa, who got back on the pitch, and he was introduced as the Blitzbach legend. Cecil Africa, of course, he'd retired from the game, but was still active in rugby, playing for Major League Rugby out in the United States in 15s, and then playing sevens in France when he got the call-up from Neil Powell. So the Blitzbach looked pretty good. Full-time, the match is blown. The whistle's blown, and that's the Springboks win it. But the tries, once again, by Makata and Ndlovu, a brace of tries by Angela Davids. Christy Grubla got a try, and Ronald Brown got a try. Those were very exciting tries, all of them. And only one conversion by Selvin Davids. The Chilean side, Joaquin Hucci got a try. So there you go, folks. JC Pretorius, Christy Grubela, Makata, Ronald Brown, Angela Davids, Miller Duplessis, and Selvin Davids were the starters. Off the bench for the Blitzbach in this game was Cecil Africa, Sheikh Soyezwape, who's the captain, Ndlovu, who scored that try, Impey Visser, and Sean Williams. And that's what you had for the day. So let's take a look at tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. For day 2, we have the bowl quarterfinals. It's Portugal versus Germany at 8:15. I will miss that game because tomorrow morning we have a meet and greet right down the road from where I'm currently at, and that's at the Woodbridge Island, at Bolsa on Woodbridge Island. It's tomorrow at 8 o'clock, breakfast with the Colonel. You're welcome to join us if you're in the area, and come check it out. If you forget, you can go watch the video about where the meet and greets are. That's listed on there. Also, in a special surprise for tomorrow night, a content creators extravaganza, ladies and gentlemen. And that content creators extravaganza will see the likes of Chris Wyatt, Ronaldo Hus, Jeremy Nell, Joe Emilio, and Gideon from Paratus. At a minimum, those will be the content creators we expect to see at the event. That is tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. at Tiger's Milk in Century City here in Cape Town. Be there, be square. We'll see you tomorrow for that, folks. Courtney McBride. Courtney, I wish you would watch my content, actually. I have met with AfriForum, among dozens of other people. Hey, Fran Corp, good to see you there, buddy. Fran Corp, by the way, you sent me an email in which you offered me advice. I'm actually, without you realizing it, following your advice, and I'll explain more when I get a chance to actually answer email. So all the advice you gave was very good, but I'm actually doing that, and I don't want to share a personal email, so I'm not going to talk about that. Anyway, so back to where I was at. So yes, Courtney, I did meet with AfriForum. I met with AfriForum's Ernst Rutz, Kali Creel, and Ernst van Sale. Interviewed Ernst Rutz and Ernst van Sale. And that's many of the other folks that I've talked to. So back to tomorrow, 8:15, I'll miss the game. Then Zimbabwe versus Hong Kong. I'm going to miss that one too. That's a game I'd really like to see. But we have the meet and greet, and my viewers come first. Then Uganda versus Korea, and 9:21, it's Jamaica versus Tonga. Then we get to the challenge quarterfinals. It's Madagascar versus Spain. Colombia for the women. This is women, excuse me. Madagascar versus Spain. Colombia versus Brazil. South Africa versus Japan. Poland versus China. And then back to the men. It's England and Chile at 11:30, and then we have Canada versus Uruguay. USA play Wales. The Eagles ought to be able to win that game. Scotland versus Kenya. The bowl, 24th place. We don't know who that's in that yet. We'll find out. And then semifinals and the challenge. All of that's coming up tomorrow. So the championship quarterfinals for the women, it's Australia versus England. And the men, New Zealand versus Argentina. The women, they're alternating these back and forth. Then the women becomes New Zealand versus Ireland. That should be an interesting game. Hopefully the Irish women can pull that out. In the men, it's France versus Australia. Women, France versus Fiji. And the men, Samoa versus Fiji. For the women, also, we've got USA versus Canada. And finally, the men, Ireland versus South Africa at 10:30 tomorrow night. That's going to be an incredible game. We'll see what happens there, folks. That is tomorrow night. That's the lineup for the Rugby World Cup. Very interesting day here. You must be enjoying the cooler weather. I'm loving the cooler weather, Michael. It's much cooler than it was in Gauteng. Hey, Bob, how's it going there, man? Stream is strong. Well, thank you, John. I appreciate you always indicating how well the stream is doing from a signal perspective. By the way, folks, I was fine until a couple of days ago when suddenly I found myself breaking out again here in my forehead, the same problem I had for 16 months. I don't have the medicine I had with me in the States, so when I get back, I'll take it again. Hopefully it'll clear up pretty quickly like it did before, which I think it will. But it's kind of weird. I wonder if it actually is stress-induced. I handle stress well, but maybe my skin doesn't handle it so much anymore. But anyway, we'll see when I get back to the States how that goes. Anyway, give us a like on the video if you don't mind. We are still here for the Rugby World Cup. I'm wearing Springboks Sevens kit and picked up some stuff today. Anyway, so yeah, it's afternoon, John. I know that, but it is after midnight here. It's 10 minutes past midnight, and I've just returned from a dinner. I met some very interesting people today, and went out and had dinner with them, and it's been excellent. So once again, I want to thank everybody for their interest, their enthusiasm, their generosity for this journey. It has been an epic journey, to say the least. Every single person I tell about what's happening, it's been. I did not get to Cafe Chameleon. I'm sorry for that, JJ. Yeah, so I did not get to it. That's why I was asking where it was at. I did anticipate going to that dinner with those folks. Why is the Springbok on the sleeve of your jersey, not of your heart? Well, Courtney, I think you'll have to ask the designers of this jersey, which was not me. Probably because the stupid Protea thing is over here, over my heart, and on the other side, it's the Rugby World Cup 2022. Yeah, this is a matter of controversy for the Springboks, this effort to denigrate the Springbok and remove it because of the lie that it's a racist symbol. And so it's been an ongoing battle for 15 years now. Sometimes you wind up seeing the Protea emblem larger than the Springbok one, which is disgraceful. Thank you, Debbie. Yeah, Rugby jersey is very cool. Thank you. So far, you love the Afrikaans monument video. Well, thank you for that one. Appreciate that. Yeah, so that was pretty cool. I did get some more stuff today. Let's see if I can look in here and see if I can surprise you guys. I picked up a few things at the event. I did get me a Springbok Sevens. Get myself a Springbok Sevens cap. There you go, Springbok Sevens, right there. So that's kind of cool. And I did get this one, of course, which is for the Rugby World Cup. So this is going in my collection. Please post a video of the four-tracker mine. I have not been there, Courtney. Again, many things I intended or desired to do on this trip simply weren't possible because I devoted so much time to meeting people, conducting interviews, and giving interviews. So it's quite tiring, and only so many hours a day. So I did not get to the four-tracker monument. I did not get to Speen Cult Battlefield. I did not get to Colunso Battlefield. I did not get to the Blood River or the Isan Lawana or Works Drift sites that I wanted to get to. None of that was possible on this trip. I also have not been up on Table Mountain. If anybody's curious about that, I did not get to Simonstown to see the penguins, and I did see a whale in Hermanus. That's about it. But I've seen so many more things and experienced so much and seen so many people. The hospitality is unbelievable. Were it not for the slanderous attacks by Loving Lunacy and that idiotic channel, it would have been incredible journey so far. This money goes towards the Wyattology side by and hosting an East German film club. That's funny, Ben. How did we attract you, Ben? You just came out of nowhere there. Yeah, to-do list for the next trip. You are correct, Anne-Marie, now. And right now, the plan is early in the next year. I intend to come back to South Africa, and we're going to do some of this all over again. Of course, we have to get Victor Matfield to finish his portion of this task, signing this incredible rugby ball, which has Nas Bota's signature. It has Joel Stransky's signature in gold, and on the other side, it has Nas Bota in black and Joel Stransky in black as well. So Victor Matfield should have been down here on both sides of the ball, but Victor did not get to sign the ball because I left it behind in the Sun Hotel at Santon City, which was recovered by the Wyatt Army. We sent our recce team out, and they got it. Cobus V's at the airport today. Huge. Yeah, he is huge. Wonder if he's coming down to cover. I don't know because he's not a Sevens guy, so it would be interesting. Value thanks to Ronaldo. Blame him for merging his presence. No, it's fine, Ben. You're very welcome. Matt Canale. Hey, buddy. There's my rugby guy from the States. Matt Canale is a huge rugby fan, and he's an Atlanta fan. So that's pretty cool to see there, Matt. So, yeah, so got this one for those guys to sign. And then I have the other one, which, did I show you that one? Where's that? Yeah. So I have the other one, which I was playing with. That's the one for the Sevens. That's this one right here. So I'm coming back with these plus a little fan ball. So that's going to be cool. I'm going to have to buy another suitcase. Unfortunately, I think they're going to charge me like $100 or $200 to ship it, but I don't have any option. People have been so generous. There's so many gifts, and I'm not going to leave a gift behind if I can avoid it. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. So forward to getting stuff. You better start e-begging now to cover your next trip. I need to start e-begging to cover my bag to go back. I have to pay for that bag. I have to buy a suitcase, and then I have to pay for it. Alternatively, I've got a soft suitcase, but I don't think I can manage to get all the stuff in the bags and the weight. Anyway, so by the way, despite the e-bagging that I do, I did come on this trip and I gave things to people. For those who missed it, I did give things to people. Not to mention, I've been very generous with my tips for South Africans who are suffering immensely, people who are guarding cars, people who are washing cars, and as well as people who are attending to wait staff in restaurants. I've been very generous with the tips, far more than would be the normal case. And I've done that, one, because the dollar is strong, so the pain has not been that great for me, but I can deliver something wonderful for people who've given me good service in South Africa. And the other reason I've done it is because I recognize the harm that was done to South Africans by the criminal cabal known as the National Coronavirus Command Council and the African National Congress. What they have done is South Africans, subjecting them to 2 years of horror, destroying restaurants, hotels, businesses. It's bad enough that they're a racist party that creates racist legislation that discriminates against minority South Africans. That's not enough. They also have to destroy their lives through the National Coronavirus Command Council. So recognizing that, I've given tips. Of course, as you probably realize, virtually all the people who receive those tips are Black South Africans. So there you go. We're 8 o'clock. No, I wasn't, Matt. I departed here at 7:45 and only arrived there after 9, and then wasted 30 minutes trying to get into the building because they're screwed up ticket shyster system of the way that they issue tickets digitally. But in the end, I now have printed tickets. They're not very attractive, but I have printed tickets. Which airport you're leaving from? No, I'm leaving from Debbie from Cape Town. So it's fine. I can buy a bag. They're not that big deal. Anne-Marie saw people streaming on the Telegram group. I'm not understanding what you're talking about there. Who is streaming? What Telegram group? Angry, naughty children. Yes, I've said that, Dylan. My favorite jersey is still the orange one. Yeah, and that's a cool story, too. Thank you, Chris Marie's cousin, who brought me in the dark of the night like I was a Keeter, brought me a cadre, brought me a Cheetahs jersey, my first Cheetahs jersey. By the way, I bought a second Cheetahs jersey the next day, so I have 2 of them now, along with a Lions jersey, a Bulls 80th anniversary jersey. What I haven't bought is any Province jerseys. I'd like to get a Province jersey because I have updated Stormers jerseys, but an updated Province jersey. By the way, I have load shedding here in the morning, so hopefully I'll have warm water. We'll see. Anne-Marie is joining the group, so hopefully no mask. Well, I think I will have a facial covering, courtesy of Lufthansa. I don't know. I also need to go on and try to book the extra bag ahead of time so that I don't have to pay a ridiculous amount of money at the airport. And the other thing I need to figure out is laundry here. I'm going to have to do laundry before I leave. I'm starting to run a little bit low on clean clothes, although I've been buying some shirts and such. Ben has given another super chat. How much money do you need to get back? I hope this is enough to get you at least one pizza at expensive Cape Town. I don't know. They're either going to charge $100 or $200 for the bag. So, yeah, I love the Cheetah jersey delivery. That was pretty cool. And we did it in the dark. And it was 0 degrees in Bloemfontein when I did that. Yeah, so anyway, folks, pretty cool stuff. Okay, what I have to say is that I didn't get to see all the games today because I also took a break. I got up and left in the afternoon and went back to my car, which I thought I was clever, and I was clever, parking it down at the Victoria and Alfred waterfront, which, although it still took about 15 or 20 minutes to escape from there, it put me on a path to make good progress to go downtown to an Indian restaurant where I ate at tonight. It was really nice. The reason I ate at the Indian restaurant, Frank Corp, is because I was invited by people and they paid for my dinner. Very kind of them, and they're very wonderful people who I met at the stadium today. So I will get around to getting that voucher, and hopefully I'll be able to use it on Sunday and Monday. So I'm looking forward to it. But anyway, it just hasn't been possible to use it the whole time. Make sure you charge all your licenses tonight because yes, we'll have to charge them anyway because they're dead now. Oh yeah, Ben, they charge like $200 for a bag. Yeah. And that's if you do it at the airport. So if I do it before then, maybe it'll be less. Now, maybe it'll be less because I'm here in South Africa, but if I'm in the States, it's $200 for that third bag. Oh yeah, it's criminal, especially when it used to be that when I first started traveling, you used to get 4 bags at 32 kgs each. Then it was 2 bags at 23 kgs. So they really screw you on weight, but that's just the way the airlines work. So yeah, anyway. I'm in a lovely apartment here. I'm not going to show you because my stuff is all over the place. By the way, if I get that bag, I'm not done buying books. I bought 6 books I've purchased, plus people give me several other books. So that adds a lot of weight to the journey. So I have to take care of that. Anyway, so tomorrow will be day 2 of the Rugby Sevens World Cup in Cape Town. Wish I had $200 to give you. Listen, folks, I'm not asking anybody to send me money. Just need to make sure that, we don't want to be accused by, the loving lunacy people that we're begging for money. But my viewers are quite generous, and I do appreciate that. Thank you so much. Why change to book online for? Yeah, I know, Debbie. Potentially, maybe way cheaper, but it may not be way cheaper because if I do it online here, it's probably going to go back to my ticket from the States and charge me $200. But if I do it at the airport, like for instance, to pay for a bag with Fly Staff Air, it's 250 Rand. That's dirt cheap. I wish that's what it cost. Anyway, so but that's the airport. Stick a 200 note in your boarding pass, weight goes down. Yeah, but I have so much stuff here, Chris, that they won't fit in 2 suitcases at this stage, no matter how much I smush it in there. So I've got to work on that. Only a couple disappointments on the trip so far. One that I wasn't able to do some things I wanted to do, but that's not a big deal. But the real disappointment was that I just missed Elvis Blue at his cafe in George by 10 minutes. I was really looking forward to interviewing him. It's a shame. Can we clip the part where Chris said, "I'm not asking for money," and said, "Scott has no balls"? Ben, you are right. Welcome to the channel. Yeah, so if you want. Anyway, but yeah, what else did I get? Let me see what else, because I was showing you the stuff I picked up at the stadium. So I did get this really cool t-shirt. And I did what I always do at a Rugby World Cup, especially the sevens. I went to the stores first thing I did. And I got in the queue as quick as possible, as early as possible, because the stuff will be sold. They were gone. They were completely sold out of stuff by the evening. So this is the Rugby World Cup t-shirt. It's got a nice color pattern on the side there. And then on the back, it's got 2022 with the SA symbol in it. So that's nice. That's a t-shirt. I like that one. So I got that. And with the dollar at the exchange rate that is, it's not too bad. Picked up a laundry sack as well. I tend to collect these from all over the world, including Rugby World Cups. So, oops, that's upside down. Sorry about that. So you go right side up. There you go. And then one other thing, I think I got 2 more things. I picked up a rain jacket. This one's kind of different, weird, but it is a Rugby World Cup 2022 rain jacket. There you go. I don't know what's with all these symbols. They have them all over the place, but that's the rain jacket there. Not my favorite material, but I do like the rain jacket. And then the scarves are pretty lame. This is like the stuff that they make jerseys and stuff out of, but this is stitched on, which is very good quality. So I got myself a scarf. I'll never wear this, of course. It'll just go in my collection. But yeah, so that's pretty cool. The colors for the World Cup are lovely. I enjoy the colors. And another thing is that the place where I picked this stuff up, this is what the bag they put it in. So they put it not in the Rugby World Cup bag, but the Springbok Experience. Sadly, folks, the Springbok Experience, which is a museum in Cape Town, is gone. It closed apparently 4 years ago, so they must have had a bunch of bags left over, and they've been using them ever since. So anyway, I thought that was interesting. But yeah, so there you have it, folks. The day one, exciting stuff from Faith Nathan from New Zealand, who scored 5 tries in a game, in that first game against Madagascar. 5 tries, that's incredible. And then, of course, Jazz Gray also scored a couple tries for the USA women. Super cool. Very nice collective merchandise and different look away from the norm. Yes, it is. Hey, Purple Bear, those are great items you were able to get. Good for you. Well, thank you, Purple Bear. If I hadn't gone and followed my process of going straight to the merchandise store and getting what I could before it was gone, I wouldn't have anything because, like I said, almost everything was gone. But they had some cool stuff. They had some nice stuff for women, too. Yes, of course, it's made in China. Yeah, anyway, so there you go, folks. Yeah. When you come back to Durban, I'm happy to open my home to you. Well, thank you for that, Ben. I appreciate it. I'm sorry we missed you in Durban, but I don't think you knew who I was back then. Yeah, so Chris Wyatt, stick a 200 Rand note. You guys kill me, man. South Africans have a sense of humor. So last night I spoke at the Reformation Society in Rondebosch. I live streamed that. You're welcome to go back and watch it and like it if you don't mind. That's really cool. I do appreciate it. By the way, folks, this stream is not about that, but let me just talk very briefly about the Loving Lunacy channel, which attacked me and slandered me on the basis of absolutely nothing, just made bullshit up. I mean, Scott Balson is really in need of mental health care. This guy is absolutely off his rocker. But I'm not here to denigrate Scott Balson. But I will say this, a strange day, in fact, if you go and try to search for lovinglifetv.com, you'll find that the channel does not exist. It's been suspended by the administrator. In case you didn't know that, folks, you're going to have to need another house to store everything. Successful day. May tomorrow be just as good. Thank you, Debbie. And Debbie, thank you once again for the wonderful job you did for me in OR Tambo and helping put stuff together. The sign, the marquee that we've got has taken some damage. The case was ripped by Fly Staff Air on this last flight in 2 places by somebody putting something heavy on it. And also I accidentally, because it pulling out of the cab, I ripped one of the handles. So the bag's taking a beating, but the sign is also taking a bit of a beating. Not the actual sign, but the metal stand that it's in. The two clips came off, but it's still working great, and we're loving it. So what's this? Slam others, yeah. Anyway, so let me get back to the Loving Lunacy saga. So you may have missed my video. I understand Ronaldo did a video as well. I got emails from Ronaldo and from other people, messages telling me that Loving Life had disappeared. And so I went and checked it out, and sure enough, the domain is suspended. So I received the text, the email message purportedly coming from Rudy Wyatt, and also a response from Scott Bolson. Now, I can't prove the provenance of those text messages, but reputable people sent them to me, so I'll assume that they're true. But I have no evidence that they're true. In the email, Rudy expresses his anger with Scott and his behavior and his treatment of himself, and basically says how much he's been paying to keep Scott's website up. And then Scott basically tells him, get screwed. And in a response, assuming that's actually from Scott Bolson, not someone else typing it up. But anyway, it pretty much confirms everything that Scott Bolson accused me of lying about, even though I didn't make this stuff up. So anyway, that's the reality of it, folks. It's your signature logo. It is, absolutely, Debbie. And it turns out that we picked a really good logo. When I was in Port Elizabeth at Tapas, I met a lot of people there, and I was standing outside and like, is that you? Are you that guy? I'm like, yeah. And it's just, the fact that the things see me in uniform without a beard, now they see the beard, really gets conversations going. Yeah, it was an excellent stream last night. Well, thank you very much, Debbie. Are you talking about the Rundabosh or the one I did about that wackadoodle in Australia? That was fun. I don't know if it was excellent, but it was fun. Anyway, if you walked into this apartment right now, I'd be embarrassed. I mean, there's literally stuff laying all over here. I'm going to give you a quick preview. I said I wasn't going to do it, but I'm going to do it anyway. So anyway, Ben, here's some money towards a church. You can buy this domain. It's for 69 October. Muse about Scott. I take it you don't like Scott. Anyway, so look at this. I've just got stuff everywhere in this room. So you can see it there. Just made a mess of this place. So anyway, yikes. So I don't usually like a mess, but I have had no time to myself. Oops, there we go. Bouncing around a little bit there. Sorry about that, folks. So, yeah. Shane, you must have been exhausted. Yeah, I am exhausted. Now I am, Debbie. It's catching up. It's catching up because, I'm working till midnight, and then I'm going to bed at 1:30, 2 o'clock, and I'm getting up at 6 or 7 and starting the day over again. That's a tough pace to keep for a 20-year-old, that for somebody that's, in an advanced state of life like myself, who's 35. That's tough for a 35-year-old like me. Anyway, you get the point. Having a little fun there. So, yeah. Hey, Rebel Canners. Your room looks like a Spec Ops storeroom. Yikes. Comfy as best you can be. It looks like my twins' room. No, it's an apartment. It's nice. It's got a kitchen here. Got a nice shower and bathroom. The bedroom is off to the side here, and a nice dining area. And outside is the bay that sits across from Cape Town, just about 9 kilometers from the stadium. So it's pretty cool here. I'm over in Milnerton. For a deer soap, vitamin B. Scott. I'm not Scott. What are you talking? Wait, Scott. I'm not 35. I'm not Scott. Yeah, but I am 35, yes. Anyway, so yikes. Anyway, folks, yeah, it's been pretty incredible. It's been quite a pace, but it's okay. And thanks to all the people who at the meet and greets gave me super chats. Again, if you lack the means or you're in difficult situations, please don't put yourself in a bind. I've never asked anyone for money, and I've actually told people to not give money if they're in that situation. No, that's right. I'm not Scott. You've got it right. Emery loved the way the Rondabosh meeting was closed. Prayer is always a good way to end it. Well, yeah, it was. It's not my standard, but it's their place, and I have no objections to prayer. So it was interesting. Although sometimes prayer can run a bit long, although that was very good that time. Yeah, I'm not really 35, but I am loving life. Yeah, as opposed to loving lunacy. Listen, so for those of you who are listening who think that it might be very human and compassionate to feel bad for Scott Bolson that his domain has been shut down, doesn't mean he's gone. Maybe he'll come back. Someone else will support him. He's got enough people that are busy drinking his Kool-Aid that he might do that. But let me just say something to you here. Hey, Pro Wrestling Podcast. Let me just say something to you. I just realized who that was. Let me just say something to you about the situation. I have no empathy whatsoever for Scott Balson and the loss of his domain and his program. May he suffer the ignominy of being the ass that he is, the disrespectful, lying clown that he is, a person who cannot distinguish between a business and his personal feelings. Yes, man, I feel bad for his victims, not him. And he does have a whole trail of victims whose lives he's damaged, if not destroyed. And his little sycophants that have attacked these people like Erica, Fiona, and a large number of other people who've come onto this channel and expressed and contacted me in private what has happened to them. It's absolutely demented. I've never spoken ill of this shithead, but he deserves his fate. And, you know, karma is a bitch. Yep. I called him a clown. Amy! Justine LaRue. Amy was my farewell committee at OR Tamble. And Amy, I know I said thank you before, but let me just say it right here in front of everybody. It's a small crowd tonight, but let me just say it. Thank you so much, Amy. You really made me feel like part of the team. It was nice to be seen off the airport. I don't get to see, that doesn't happen to me very often. So thank you so much for that. And by the same token, thank you so much to the Pet Zoo film crew who greeted me at the airport on my first arrival. That was awesome. And then here in Cape Town, my last arrival, DeBarham was there to welcome me. And in George, I also had a greeting there as well. Thank you for that. It was incredible to see people. Sean Mandish showed up in George to meet me at the airport. So you guys have really made me feel at home. I know people are saying that I should buy a house in South Africa. People are also saying I should live in South Africa. That's very kind of you. It's very tempting. Boy, with this kind of hospitality, it's hard to say no. Amy says, you're so welcome. Well, thank you for that, Amy. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, thank you so much for that. Enjoying my balls. By the way, you know, I may have lost my balls in Santon, but I've now recovered my balls. Just so you know that, okay? I have my balls back. I lost my balls in Santon, but they're back. Yeah, Amy's photos were pretty cool. Ben says South Africans survive me. Gus is here. Yeah, Chris what was this? I was wrecked. What does that mean? I was wrecked. Yeah, no, I was concerned because I did that car turned in and there was a delay. So I've also accomplished some things which I really haven't spent time telling you guys about. For instance, I met a DA counselor in Acre Helene on the day that I flew back to OR Tambo. You haven't seen that, and there won't be a video on that, but just to let you know, that's someone I've known for about a decade through LinkedIn. He has balls. Yeah, just hot full of Scots. Yeah, I am. Thank you, Anne-Marie. I am actually I'm tired of I'm hot full of his nonsense. It's, I don't know what the guy's problem is, why he drugged me into his bullshit. Once again, for the record, since we're talking about this, I said on Ronaldo's program that I understand that Fiona said that Scott had mistreated her, but I don't know much about it. I'm not going to say anything more. That's what I said. And this demented lunatic then took that clip, which he stole from Ronaldo's content, which is copyright infringement, but he took that clip and then he used it. And then he said, after he played what I said, see, Chris Wyatt is a liar. If you repeat a lie, then you're a liar. You're a dipshit and a dunderhead there, Scott. I didn't repeat a lie. I told you what someone said. That's not a lie. That's a statement of what someone shared. Oh, Amy, you don't know what happened? No, don't worry about it, Ben. It's fine. Okay, so Amy, a couple of nights ago, Scott Balson stole Ronaldo's content and used it to attack Ronaldo and then attacked me. Scott Balson called me a grifter. He called me a fraud. He called me an e-beggar. He lied and said that I begged for money for this trip and I'm deceiving and I've bewitched my followers. That's what he said. It's ironic coming from the cult of Balson to hear some jackass say something like that. And then I was angry about that because the way he lumped me in with a bunch of other people who he has distaste for. So Ronaldo tried to egg me on and asked me to come on his program. I went to Ronaldo's program from Mossel Bay late at night, and I let loose. Now, let me tell you my approach, which was very much measured in my view and very much intentional and directed at Scott Balson and his lies and his slander. So Ronaldo finally got me the channel and asked me to speak about it, and I spoke for about a minute before I let loose. Now, the reason for a minute is that you just try to, in the military, when you call for fire, when you're calling for artillery rounds, what you do is you have to zero in the range. So you fire an artillery round, the observer says, adjust, 100 mils to left or right, and up or down, and you adjust the fire. And what you do is may take 1, 2, or 3 rounds, but you zero in on the target. And that's what I did for the first minute. And then for the next 3 minutes or so, I just let loose a profanity-laced torrent in which I called him a fake Tanganykan, a fake South African, a fucktard, and a whole bunch of other things, because I had enough of his bullshit. He slandered me, and it's quite actionable. Could get attorneys. He has no proof of anything he said. He just made this crap up on the fly, and he drugged me into his dispute with Ronaldo, trying to damage my reputation, all because he wants clicks on his pathetic little hate-wanking channel. So that's what happened. It actually started over 2 years ago. That's correct. Can one of my mods get rid of that, please? Thank you very much. Thank you for being on top of that, Hendo. Well done, Hendo. You were ready for that. So what happened to his server? Well, Amy Justine LaRue, he called me a liar because I said that, and I think it was, or maybe it was Ronaldo, that, I thought, that's what it was. I said that one of his supporters had been paying for his server and hosting it and paying the cost up to like 4,000 Rand per month to host Loving Life TV, his webmaster. And that was Rudy Heidenhuis. And that's all a matter of fact. Rudy has shared that with people. And I said that. And he called me a liar and said that he never accepted money for anybody. And obviously, he's the liar. Well, Rudy was mistreated by Ronaldo, supposedly. I've talked to Rudy to confirm this. I do have emails which purportedly come from Rudy and from Scott. And Rudy was mistreated and tossed aside like a wet rag, just like Fiona, Erica, and many others. And so Rudy told him to get stuffed, and he told Rudy to get stuffed, so Rudy shut down his domain. If you go to lovinglifetv.com right now, you'll get a message saying that it's been suspended. Karma is a bitch, Scott. You fuck with the bull, you get the horns, man. So I don't think Rudy shut it down because of the way I was treated, but a lot of people are completely hot full of Scott Bolson. Okay, this lunatic, after he did all that, after I ranted and I cocked him out in with some profanity, I said to Scott Bolson, listen, and he appeared in the chat, I said, if you knock it off right now, cease and desist, I won't even demand an apology. You just let it go and we can have a truce. Be a man. And that's where I left it. And I was going to leave it. But this hate wanker then went on. I gave him shock and awe. That's right, Lee Roberts. I gave him shock and awe. This hate wanker then went and made another video in which he attacked me and he accused me of having a gang of assassins come after him. He literally said this, I have a gang of assassins. What he's talking about is Billy Painter's group called the Bearded Patriots, something he put together for people who have beards who are conservatives. And he asked me to, if I want to be a member of it. I said, sure, I'll be a member of it. So Billy sent the note to the hate wanker Scott Bolson, who once again betrays people's personal trust by sharing their email. How do you get back here? How does that cloud get back? Is he blocked already? Anyway, so this hate wanker comes up and he attacks Billy Pater and exposes his email in which Billy basically says he's a turd of the way he handled me. Now, Billy bespoke in saying that I spent all my money for a combination of everything. Billy means well, but I don't think he understood the facts. Yeah, that's what it is, Ben. They're probably coming from Scott Bolson. I don't know. But so my accommodation has been overwhelmingly provided by viewers. Those who've hosted me in their homes, those who've paid for my accommodation on a few occasions, or those who know someone who owns a property like the where I'm staying tonight, and there's no cost to them other than lost business opportunity, but I don't have to pay, and they don't have to pay. So I didn't ask for any of this accommodation. I just told people where I was going to be, and people made offers. I've had to turn several people down, and I hope they understand. So I correct Billy on the record. That's actually what happened with my accommodation. But then this lunatic, this loving lunacy hate wanker, the next thing he did, he's a guy from Australia. The next thing he did was he said that I sent assassins after him. If he disappears, he'll know that Chris Wyatt was behind his assassination. And then he says that the CIA and FBI are behind me. Now, He also, not him, but one of his little hate-wanking, sycophantic, testicle-licking followers wrote on his video in which he made these nonsensical comments that Chris Wyatt is a demon rat. He's a Democrat too. I made up the term demon rat, so you're stealing my commentary. And it's a matter of public record that I'm a registered Republican in the state of Pennsylvania, you demonic, self-pleasuring little turd who wrote that lie and slandered me. That's actually liable because you put it in print on the web. So your libelous comment is actionable, you little hate-wanking troll. And I am a registered Republican in the state of Pennsylvania. I don't like the Republican Party, but I like to vote. In order to vote in the primary, you must be a member of a registered political party. So I'm registered as a Republican. That's a matter of public record. Anybody can find that information out online or can request from the state of Pennsylvania. It's not a state secret. So this is the nature of these disgusting, vile, leftist little self-pleasuring retards that are on this sick, loving lunacy community. They lie. They just make shit up. And they, the problem for these morons is that it can be easily refuted. It's just like the black racist and white liberals in South Africa attacked me and called me. Yeah, they do exclude black folks, Spiker Home. They do. They don't like black folks. A whole lot of racists on that channel as well. I haven't even addressed that. But anyway, but not everybody there. There's a lot of good people on that channel. Anyway. So the lies that they tell are easily refuted. For instance, accusing me of lying about someone else paying for a server, when the person paying for a server he just shit on, and so that guy shut down his domain. Okay, so for those of you who know me, know that if the FBI was behind me, the FBI would not be investigating would not be investigating parents. They would be investigating domestic terrorist groups like Antifa and Black Lives Matter. If the FBI was behind me and I controlled and influenced the FBI, they would not have raided Donald Trump's house. They would have arrested Hillary Clinton and turned over to the Department of Justice if the FBI responded to me. So the CIA, this guy's crazy. I mean, this is the problem with people who know nothing about what they're talking about. They just make stuff up. I'm going to tell you, folks, I've worked with the CIA. The world attributes far more capacity and capability to CIA than they actually have ever had. The amount of influence they have is nowhere near what people presume it is. It's just comical to listen to people. I have worked with people in the CIA that are complete morons that couldn't walk and chew gum at the same time if they were challenged to do it. I've also worked with some of the best and brightest in America who work for the CIA. So this super colossus boogeyman that they paint the CIA to be is a joke. And the CIA working for me, that's an even bigger joke. But whatever. This, listening to Scott Balson's demented lunacy-laced comments yesterday was entertaining. So I made a video about it, and I called it The Wackadoodle in Oz. Anyway, so that's kind of what's going on there, Amy. And so the guy lost his domain. He got kicked off YouTube with 100,000 subscribers because he kept pushing the button and not adhering to the rules. I was kicked off YouTube, but I adhered to the rules, and I was attacked by the sycophants from that channel, the black racist, and the white liberals. Anyway, two different stories there. So for all you can do for us, it's our honor, offer to contribute to your trip. Yes, no, and Debbie, I've said it repeatedly, the hospitality, the generosity of South Africans is epic. Oh, he's made another channel, really? What's that one called? He had The Truth, but is that what you're talking about, Ben? The Truth? Which is ironic. The Truth is anything but the truth. That's what this channel should be called, Anything But the Truth. Anyway, folks, yeah, it's beyond comical. Do you like the paintings behind me? I like that's pretty cool. The paintings framing me back there. Yeah, it is ironic. It's Anything But the Truth is his channel. Look, this guy started a fight with me. I wasn't saying anything about him. I didn't denigrate his channel. All I said was the truth, that his hate-wanking little, self-pleasuring little trolls banned me on that channel for no reason. I never said anything bad about this demented leftist, little slimy, little self-pleasuring, hate-wanking little wackadoodle in Australia. Never said anything bad about him. He's pissing into the wind. He's challenging me, and he really doesn't know what he's gotten himself into. And then there's lies about me and the FBI and the CIA and the bearded patriots and assassination attempts. I mean, this guy is really demented. Yeah, anyway, so it is funny. So, yeah. So it's like the LMC guy who came on my channel. He retracted his comment and basically, in an oblique fashion, called me a racist because I didn't go to Umlazi. Well, again, I've asked him, whom do you know in Umlazi who could give me to take me around, introduce me to people. I don't know anybody named Mlazi. You think me showing up there and just walking up to people and sticking a microphone in their face going, hello, you live in poverty here and it's miserable. How you black folk doing? You know, that's just asinine. So that was because I did a video about Brendan Horner, and in that video I mentioned Edward Neumeister and also mentioned Indian woman who was murdered in Ayub. I mentioned Chifatso Pule, who was murdered, black. And of course, the racist commentary accusing me of being racist ignored all of that and simply got angry because I talked about Brendan Horner and tried to use false moral equivalency to equate 11 people dying in Umlazi with me going to Senegal, which was on my way to Bloemfontein, and accusing me of being a bigot or racist. It's just comical in the very nature of it. The stupidity of people who make up bullshit. They're just trying to divide people. Anyway, so yeah. So there you have it, folks. That's just kind of what's going on there. But anyway, you know, not to worry. YouTube shadow banning is in effect on my channel. We know this because we've seen it in full force. I did that video, that satirical video on Port Elizabeth's water supply. Sorry, I'm just trying to get something off my foot here. So I did that satirical video on Port Elizabeth's water supply, and in half an hour I had 9,000 views. And since then it's been flatline. Yep. He had a recording. Yeah, the guy is just, he's not well. And, you know, in a normal circumstance, I might feel bad for the guy. But no, I don't feel bad for the guy. He's created self-inflicted wounds. I never say anything about him, bad about him. He comes after me and just lies and slanders me. I'm not going to tolerate that. That's not going to be accepted. I cannot tolerate that sort of lie and behavior. Sorry, folks. I'm just bending over because it's just bothering me. I was dealing with it. But got some super chats on this stream. Thank you so much for that. And during my trip, many of my viewers and followers have been giving me super chats. Some small, some a little bit larger. Thank you all for that. This has been an absolutely incredible trip. It's not over yet. We still have 2 more days of rugby, then a day in Zevenvacht, Cape Town, and Somerset West, which will be a big day on the 12th, and then my last day on the 13th. So yeah, lots more to come in the short time I'm here. Then it's a miserable trip through Lufthansa back to the States. I'll get back. And then shortly after that, I'll appear on Lindell TV on the 17th, if I'm not mistaken. And then I have a whole list of people here who I've interviewed, plus interviews I need to edit and put up online, the improved versions of what you've already seen from the live stream, plus some that were never appeared online. And very excited about all that, folks. Stage 4 tomorrow if a bull run begins, okay? All right. Bull run. Anyway, folks, yeah, so I hope that you're all well and you're doing well this evening. I'm going to hit the rack here shortly, a little bit longer, but anyway, if anybody has any questions, ask them right now. I'm happy to answer them regarding the trip or anything coming up or what's going on. You just tell me right now what your questions are, and I'll try to address them before I go offline. And yeah, so, there goes Amy. Which team has looked the best so far? I think that on the women's side, the Australians looked incredible. The New Zealanders looked pretty good too, the Black Ferns. On the men's side, South Africa looked good, but the competition was pretty slim. Who else looked good? Ireland looked very good. I think Ireland astounded England. Not in my estimation. I would have picked Ireland to win the game, but they did win the game, and I think it shocked England. So yeah, that's probably one aspect of it. Yeah, so that's probably the teams that looked the best in my opinion. The Eagles on the women's side looked pretty good. They were among the better teams, but the men's side, it was not a good performance. What's a good method for looking for bugging device in your room? Well, first off, you don't want to be seen looking for them because sometimes the bugging devices include cameras, and the last thing you want to be doing is seen looking for them. So you have to find a surreptitious way to look for them, and one way to look for bugs is to clean, right? I mean, you have to dust periodically, yes. So get the broom out and dust over your pictures behind me. You have to move them from the wall to get the dust off. And then you have to do the same thing around the room. So that's one way to check for them. But you don't want to draw attention to yourself because they'll go silent and or they will simply not be found. And then they'll see that you're up to it and you're wise to them. So anyway, that's one way you can do it. I hope you don't have bugs in your house. That would be pretty frightening. That's one way to do it. So hopefully that's some helpful information for you. You can see, as I've always said, that caffeine and sugar, not a problem. I'll drink that and I'll go to bed right now if I want. Don't have to wake up early tomorrow, catch an early No, I do have to wake up early, Emery. Now I have an 8 o'clock in the morning breakfast meet and greet at Balsa Woodbridge, just down the road here. So I'll probably get up around 7, which means I'll get about 4 or 5 hours sleep again. You're welcome for the help with the bugs, man, but you have to be very careful. I can't disclose how I know that that's an obvious thing, because that's a trade secret I can't share, and I can't be taught about tradecraft, but that I've become aware of as part of my responsibility. The advice I just gave is my own advice. And there's more advice, but yeah. So the last thing you want to do is walk in your room, be looking around, lifting pictures, but if you're cleaning, that's the sort of thing you do. But no one just generally walks over and lifts the picture frame off the wall and looks around to see if there's something on it. Only if you surreptitiously, carefully look at it while you're cleaning it and dusting it, then you can find these things. Yeah, anyway, so that's one way. Another way about a bug is to get a radio frequency scanner, and you can pick up the transmissions from a bug because it's transmitting back to something in the room. If it's transmitting consistently or constantly, that's going to make it easier. But if it's a spot one that acts activated by sound, then you simply have to have a conversation or something and then watch where the signal goes. Anyway, hopefully that helps you out a little bit. I mean, that's some advice about bugs. I'm not going to profess to be an expert on it, but I'm not exactly uninformed either. So I hope that helps you out. And thank you for the question. Any other questions before we get rolling here? Bacon for Chris. This is your father. Go to bed and get some sleep. When did Anne-Marie Nell become my father? Well, I have to go to sleep now, folks, because my phone is at 5%. It's going to die in the next couple of minutes, so it's time to wrap up. Thank you all so much. God bless and have a lovely night. I'll catch you tomorrow from the Rugby World Cup. Take care of yourselves.